I'll ask Mr. Yiannas a few questions again. Currently, what is the structure of the FDA and its food programs?
Currently, the foods program is what I call a very distributed and decentralized organization. You had the Office of Food Policy and Response within the Commissioner's office, an office that I led of about 40 people. You have the largest office involving food, the Center for Food Safety and Nutrition, which to this day is led by Dr. Susan Main, who has recently announced her retirement. You have the field force.
Oh, okay, I hate to cut you up, but only give us 5 minutes. Would you therefore describe the current structure as decentralized?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you think that is a problem where it's all so decentralized if you have a crisis like we had last year?
I do. I think the decentralized and distributed nature of the organization caused information silos, not allowing critical data and information to flow to those that needed it quickly and that needed it most.
Did you elevate your concern before this crisis?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, but nothing was done about your concern, or?
In the time that I was at FDA, which was a little bit over 4 years, I've had 6 different bosses, whether permanent or acting commissioners. It's been a rotating seat, and every person that I've reported to has known my concerns.
Okay. FDA Commissioner Califf released a restructuring plan for the program. In your opinion, does the Commissioner's restructuring plan do enough to resolve the Human Foods Program's organizational issues?
While I believe Dr. Califf's plan is well-intentioned, I don't think it will completely solve the issues at hand. Number one, and I know we're limited in time quickly, is it's been referred to as a new foods program vision. A vision and strategy are very different than an organizational structure. It's a reorg. You need a strategy first, and you need a structure to support that strategy. That's number one. Number two, I'll disagree with my colleague here. The proposal doesn't even go as far as previous deputy commissioners once had. At one time, previous deputy commissioners had oversight over CIFSAN, over their offices in the commissioner's office, over CVM, but not ORA. This new reorg doesn't even go as far as to what previous deputy commissioners had.
It's kind of shocking. In your opinion, does the FDA, because I think when I think of the FDA, I think of drugs and medical devices, do you think the current culture at the FDA, drugs and medical devices, they do that to the detriment of the food and food safety program, to the detriment of the food and food?
I think the drug program being as big as it is, the fact that it's supported by user fees does hinder the foods program and the overall agency's focus on the foods program. As I mentioned, it's a very decentralized organization, something I had not experienced in the private sector, and as such, there are many multiple or microcultures within the broader organization, and it hinders our ability to create a one FDA culture.
Okay. And do you feel, therefore, just, as far as the head of the FDA, that they kind of, again, may look, because they're focusing on the drugs and all the money that flows there, do they kind of consider food, maybe it's an exaggeration to call it an afterthought, but a little bit of an afterthought?
My experience and decisions that have been made, including financial ones on supply chain monitoring, food has taken a back seat to drugs.
Okay. Is it appropriate for the FDA to inspect foods in the same way the FDA inspects drugs and medical devices, do you think?
The approach would be slightly different. It's a different food with different risk factors, but we should be inspecting food facilities for sure. Okay.
In December, the Reagan-Udall Foundation for the FDA conducted an operational evaluation of the FDA's Human Foods Program. Are you familiar with that report?
I am.
Okay. Could you go into it a little bit?
Sure. The commissioner and the principal deputy commissioner selected Reagan-Udall because of the close associations with them. I do think they attempted to create a fairly independent report. They provided a series of options for restructuring, with the commissioner having the latitude to choose those different options. One of the things I really liked in their report is that they emphasized culture. You can't fix FDA or strengthen FDA by just doing a reorg. You also have to address cultural issues.
Okay. And do you think to a certain extent that it would be addressed if we separated the Human Foods and Drugs Division? That forces maybe a stronger culture?
I think that could be a factor that could contribute to a stronger one food program structure. There are other ways to do it as well.
Okay, thank you.